I told you in a couple of videos ago that we were going to skip this optional portion, but I was going to come back to it. So I want to show you what that does, and then also show you why we skipped it this time. In part E and F, I knew here that I wanted the rounded equation. When I want the rounded equation, I really don't want this part right here. But in case I wanted the exact, here's why this would be useful and helpful. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to clear out everything. I'm going to go ahead and turn my plot one back on. If I go through all of these steps, we go stat, over to calc, number 4, linear regression. I am going to scroll down to the store regression equation. Instead of having to type this into my Y1, I can store it directly into that Y1. And we do that by going to F4, which is alpha trace. And I can store it into any of these equations. Typically, we'll want Y1, but it is possible that we would want Y2 or 3. But I'm going to just enter for that Y1. And now I've done all those optionals. So now I'm going to go down to calculate and hit enter. So it still gives me all of these things here. And notice that I have been using that rounded equation because the exact equation has all of these decimals here that we're cutting off. So I rounded A to the 3 decimals and I rounded B to those 3 decimals, cutting off a bunch of different digits. So now when I go into my Y equals, my exact equation has been stored in here for Y1. This isn't useful if I need the rounded, but if I need the exact, that's really nice to have, not have to type in and write down every digit. Now, I want to show you that this is going to change the answer, so you don't really want to do this unless it says use the exact equation. But now if I turn my plot 1 off and I hit graph, if I wanted to find f of 20, I would do trace 20. And you can see here that that number just slightly is off. We still get 33.4, but ours was 3.2, and this one is 2.6. So when it wants that rounded, this is going to be the correct answer. My math lab will count this number off, even though this one right here is more accurate. Same thing here, that rounded equation is what we use because that's what it asked me to. But if I used my exact and I put in still my 30, what y should equal, and for y2, just gonna go ahead and check my window, it's good. When I find that intersection, second calc down here to intersect, enter, 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 you can see here that this number is also slightly off. We got 17.824. This one is 17.827. Very, very close. This is what my math lab will want and what it will count right. Even though this one is more accurate, it is not what it's asking for. So that is why we skipped this, even though this is honestly, in the grand scheme of things, more helpful so that we get a better and more exact answer. And we don't have to type it in. But if it wants the rounded, this isn't going to be a good optional step for us to do.